I'm Mona Loy, as you know, and I represent Blackbright News, which is a publication. It's not a newspaper, it's a publication that covers Black-centred interests and concerns. And today I came across a video, or I should say a video was sent to me, about a Chinese national being deported from, was it from Uganda? Anyway, he was deported from an African country for calling the Africans monkeys. Apparently he set up a business in the country, and he's caught on video. Slagging them off. Now, I'm always baffled because it's clear that most Chinese people are very business oriented. They're motivated by making money. And a lot of their interest, in quotes, is because of the investment aspect. It's not about liking the people. When they gave 60 billion to sub-Saharan, gave them a fund of 60 billion to sub-Saharan Africa, it's because it's to give them an advantage in an African country, like they did in South Asia. They're giving money because that is how they'll gain power over that country. So I don't know why Africa's under the illusion that they've got all these Chinese people in there, they're going to be indebted to China, and yet China can't stand the sight of them. Anyway, let me show this video, and of course I have to take that back and say not all of Chinese can't stand the sight of black people, but it exists in the majority. Okay, so let me show you this video, and then you can deduce what you may.
Video insulting Kenyans and the president is being
it's Kenyan.
Liu Jiaqi was referred to Kenyans as, quote, poor black smelly monkeys, end of quote, is being deported this evening. His flight is set to leave the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 10:45 p.m. The Ministry of Immigration says he was deported on racism grounds hours after his permit for selling motorcycles was cancelled. The Chinese embassy in Nairobi says that the remarks were personal and do not in any way represent the views of the vast majority of Chinese people.
Yeah, it's like you are punishing me.
It is a clip that has gone viral on social media. Chinese national identified as Liu Jiaqi hurling insults at Kenyans. In the video captured by an employee at his motorcycle shop in Ruiru, he refers to Kenyans, including President Uhuru Kenyatta, as monkeys.
This is all the Kenyans, like a monkey. Even Uhuru Kenyatta, all of them. It's like a monkey? Yeah, sure. The president of this country? Yeah, sure.
Liu, who was nicknamed Judge by his employees, brags that there is nothing poor, black, smelly Kenyans can do to him if he fires the employee.
Yeah. You don't care? I don't belong here. I don't like here. Like a monkey people. I don't like. Talk with them. Smell is bad, and poor, and British, and black. Who like them? Why not the right people, like the Americans? Then why are you coming to do business in Kenya if we are poor, we are black, for money?
The government was quick to act. Liu was arrested and his work permit cancelled. Through its Twitter handle, the Immigration Department said Liu Jiaqi, a Chinese national who was arrested due to his racism remarks, has been deported. But the move, it appears, was not good enough if comments on Twitter are anything to go by. In response to the message by the Immigration Department, many are of the view that he should have been arraigned in court. Kimani says he was within our jurisdiction and the crime was committed in Kenya, so why didn't you charge him? Kadungu Kisumba asks, why deport while they jail our people in China? To Eric Barasa, this could be how the Chinese see us. Liu has been working in the country for the past 8 months with 7 other Chinese nationals who were given a permit to sell motorcycles for Sonling Company that has employed 12 Kenyans. Another fact that has angered Kenyans on Twitter is just how he was given a permit to sell motorbikes, something that can't be done by Kenyans. In a statement, the Chinese embassy in Nairobi, through its spokesperson, said the personal talk and the personal feeling of this young man does not represent the views of the vast majority of Chinese people. It is not the first time the Chinese have been linked to racism remarks and actions. In July, the Standard exposed the mistreatment and discrimination of Kenyans working for the Standard Gauge Railway, who are not even allowed to share tables with their Chinese counterparts in the restaurant. Kenya and China enjoy good trade relations, but for some of those who interact with the Chinese at a personal level, the relations are totally different. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
A Chinese national was captured on video.
Yeah, so what can I say? I mean, he was so insulting and he felt as though he had a right. I mean, he had that superciliousness about him. And, you know, why the Chinese government are saying it doesn't represent the views of the majority, experience tells me it does. And like I said, you know, I think it's about acknowledging different cultures, really, because that is a Chinese culture. Chinese culture, they're just very calculating. They, you know, that is how they are. They need to do something. They're focused on doing it, and they'll do anything that they need to do in order to get it. And that's how they survive. That's how they've become, you know, one of these, you know, I don't know if it's one of the richest countries, but it wouldn't surprise me. They haven't got that way by being empathetic and being nice to people. They have a business sense. They've got, you know, that kind of mercenary head sense that says, you know, what, this is a business. I don't have to like you to do business with you. So for people, you know, especially for the Kenyans or the Ugandans or anybody from sub-Saharan Africa, for them to naively believe that because the Chinese are giving them 60 billion or whatever other loans or grants that they're giving them, it's because they like them. They're living in a dream world. They need to understand that, or they need to know that it's business. It's an investment for the Chinese. They don't give a toss about you and the black people. And like they said, they believe that you're monkeys, you're animals, and that's not the first one I've seen. There's lots of videos that are showing them calling black people monkeys, and I saw one cutting them up. I don't know if that was, I don't know if it's real or not, but it's really bizarre. You know, this cannibalism. I really don't underestimate the Chinese at all. They are very, very shrewd. So it's fine if you're going into a transaction or a trade deal with them, knowing that it's business. They don't have to like you to do business with you. And that's important for people to know, especially black people. Yeah, but I didn't know you could get deported because of racism. That's the first time I've ever heard of it. I mean, I'd understand if they said it was treason because he spoke against the president of Kenya, but that's not what they were saying. They said they deported him, and I heard them talk about jail and being arraigned and all that stuff. I didn't think you could be arraigned for racism. Anyway, you learn something new every day, and that's all I've got to say today. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.